Hello YouTube and welcome to another episode of Angry Dave's Adult RC. I'm your host, Angry Dave. Make sure there's nobody around that's younger than probably about 12. Grab yourself a beer or a cocktail, fire up a doobie, grab a wrench, and let's fuck with some RCs. Today we're going to be playing with my Trailfinder II Blazer. Had this in videos before. There's a nice run video. I had some TRX4 wheels on it. I'll put a link in the video description. Since then, I took those wheels off. They're just a little too big, and they just get stuffed up in the fenders, and I don't want to gaff this body up too bad because it's just a really sexy body. So I don't want the tires rubbing in the wheel wells all the time and just grinding through the plastic, and I don't really want to cut the wheel wells open and make it look all fucking hoopty and hacked. So we switched back to the stock wheels and tires, but I have made some modifications. So let's kind of go over those. First thing I did was make a new bumper in the front with a brush guard. Just scrap steel and shit that I had laying around. Fired up a bumper. Came out pretty good. I think it looks nice. Nice brush guards for the nose. Got the tubes low enough so that the fenders are protected. It's pretty tight up in here, so the approach angle stays good. And it's actually not that heavy, even though it's all steel. We got rid of the shortest leaf spring so that the suspension's a little softer. Pulled the springs out of the shocks. I got the O-ring mod. Got the Chino mod. You might be able to see on the end of the spring there that it's carved up a little bit. I put a body lift on it to make a little bit more clearance for the tires. And we did a little fucking around with that body lift set so that I was able to make this a pin-on body. So I don't take the screws out anymore. There's an R-clip right in here, and there's the R-clips inside the bed right there, and the whole body comes off nice and easy. It's pretty sweet. Back to the tires here. We went ahead and cut every other lug on the outside only, so it would still roll smooth on harder surfaces, but we got a little bit more bite. Also turned the tires around, flipped them from one side to the other so that the V goes the other way. That tends to help when you're crawling. And we put in a set of Crawler Innovations foams because the stock foams were fucking virtually non-existent. They might as well not have even been there. And this is a heavy fucking truck. Anybody who has one of these can vouch for that. It's a fucking heavy truck. So you need a little bit of support in the tires. Otherwise, it's just rolling over the tire constantly. It doesn't side hill worth a shit. And it really just performs like crap. Underneath, let me roll this up so that we get a little bit of light going under here. I modified the stock skid plate, which really is only good at first for hanging up on shit. But if you put a couple of slits in the sheet metal and bang the stuff up, it gives you a little bit of a ramp and helps it glance up and over stuff. I'll probably get the low profile Delrin one eventually, but for now, yeah, I mean, you can see the profile. The front used to look just like the back, just a sharp 90 degree. So that should help performance quite a bit. In the back, I made a set of, you can't really see. Let me get a fucking light here. Made a set of traction bars, which also double as lift blocks. That's right, I got the lift. I can't get the fucking camera on it. Got the lift blocks all the way around, so it's got a bit of a suspension lift, and we put in the pinion wedges so that the drive shaft has a decent angle. But in the back, I replaced the block with a set of traction bars, because one thing I was noticing is when you're climbing up a steep angle with this truck and you apply a lot of throttle, you get a lot of axle wrap in the back, especially since I'm not running the full spring pack. So those levers should hit the eye of the spring and stop the axle wrap and redirect the force down so that the tire tracks and the truck goes forward instead of just bending the shit out of the spring and deforming it on me. Got a China knockoff bumper on the back, which I actually like this bumper, and believe it or not, that hitch doesn't really get hung up on too much. It's got a Hobby Wing 1080 quick run speed control. We got a Savox 1270 TG waterproof titanium gear servo. I modified the cap so that it's magnet. You can just pop it right off, get it out of your way. Got a jerry can in the back. Got a high lift jack mounted over here on the fender. Those jerry cans are pretty sweet. I actually got that from Cross RC. That comes stock on a lot of their trucks. It comes 2 in a bag for like $5, and it comes with that nice little rack that it sits in that you can mount to anything and shit like that. So that's a pretty nice little deal. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take this fucker out, and we're gonna test out all these performance modifications and see how much better it works. It was a pretty reasonable performing truck, especially for a heavy one, but there were definitely some shortfalls, which I think I have more or less corrected at this point. So let's take it outside and put it around on the scale park and see what this fucker can do. All right, let's see how this thing performs. It always had a bit of trouble getting up onto this ramp. Well, that was actually better than normal. That's definitely tracking better up there. These blocks are usually like fucking kryptonite to these little wheels. Tires just won't fucking bite. I might have to cut the inside too to get a little bit more lug going here. Let's give it a little power. That did it. Of course, I did it in the wrong direction. There we go. Hung up on that rear differential. This really is meant to be a trail truck, so if it does anything close to even reasonable on this crawl course, it'll do just fine out on the trails. This course is designed to be pretty difficult. Looks like I got to turn the drag brake up a little bit. I'm gonna correct this by hand because I was watching the fucking camera instead of the truck and I put the front end where it shouldn't be. That wasn't the truck's fault, that was the driver. Alright, not bad. Let's go on to the next obstacle. That was another spot that was normally trouble. That went up that like it was nothing. This is usually a tire spinner. Ooh, that was a quick grab. Yeah, there is definitely a noticeable improvement already. And we're only into the second obstacle. Probably not going to take it for a full run, but we'll run through a couple of the harder ones here and see how she does. This part's a bitch. You hit that first 2x4 and it wants to roll the truck just about every time. Yay, just like that. You got to have a truck with a real low center of gravity to be able to come through that part clean. But that's okay. If it's too easy, it's no fun. And again, this is a trail truck, not a crawler. Now you see, with a little bit of work and very little money, you can make a vast improvement in your truck's performance. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, share it with a friend, And catch us next time on Adult RC, where grown-up time is playtime.